AITA for freaking out at my friends after they implied my husband was a predator. I, 27F, have been with my husband, 29M, for 10 years, married for 6. He is, without a doubt, the love of my life. He's my best friend, my rock, and the kindest, most genuine person I know. For some context, we met when I was 17 and he was 19. We were young, but we just clicked. He has always been the type of person who makes others feel at ease. When we first got together, I was still living with my parents because we were in a major city with an insanely high cost of living. Eventually, he moved in with me and my family, and in that time, he became really close with my younger siblings. I have 3 younger siblings, a sister, 16F, a brother, 14M, and another sister, 12F. Growing up, I made a tradition that when each of them turned 14, I would take them on a special trip, just the 2 of us. It was my way of celebrating them stepping into their teenage years and giving them an adventure to remember. When my older younger sister turned 14, we had an amazing trip, and now it's my brother's turn. Here's where things get weird. My husband and my little brother have always had an amazing bond. It's one of the sweetest things I've ever seen. My husband was the only boy in his family growing up, and my brother is the only boy out of the 4 of us siblings, so they just naturally clicked. They love the same things, video games, sports, and nerding out over random facts. My husband has basically taken on the role of an older brother to him, and my brother adores him. I've always thought it was heartwarming. I mean, isn't that what you want in a husband? Someone who loves your family like his own? So, a few nights ago, I was out with some friends, and we were talking about upcoming plans. I brought up the trip with my brother, and I made a lighthearted joke about how I was probably going to be third-wheeling the whole time since my husband and my brother get along so well. Most of my friends laughed, except for one. Let's call her Jessica. Jessica gave me this weird, scrunched-up face and said, "Wait, that's kind of weird." I was confused and asked, "What do you mean?" She hesitated for a second and then said, "I just think it's a little inappropriate that your husband, who's almost 30, is bonding that much with a 14-year-old boy. Like he's paying more attention to your brother than you? Doesn't that strike you as off?" At first, I thought she was joking, so I laughed and said, "No, not at all. They just get along really well, and I was just joking about third-wheeling," but she didn't let it go. Instead, she leaned in and said, "I don't know if I didn't know you personally. I'd say this sounds like grooming." Grooming? I don't even remember what I said immediately after that because my brain shut down. It was like my body was running on pure adrenaline. I snapped. I went off on her in front of everyone. I asked her how she could possibly imply something so disgusting about my husband, a man who has done nothing but love my family and treat them as his own. I told her she was the one with a sick mind if she saw something inappropriate in a completely innocent relationship. She tried to backtrack and said, "I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying it's something you should be aware of." And I lost it. I told her she had no right to try and twist something so beautiful into something perverse. That she was the one sexualizing a wholesome bond. That she was a disgusting person for even putting that idea into the air. The group went dead silent. Jessica looked shocked that I had reacted that way, and a few other people awkwardly chimed in, trying to mediate. One of them said, "Hey, I think what she meant was just..." I cut them off. "No, I don't care what she meant. She sat here and implied my husband, a man she has met, had dinner with, laughed with, is a predator just because he loves my little brother. That is not okay. And if any of you agree with her, I don't want you in my life." Then I left. Since then, the group chat has exploded. Some people are taking my side, saying that what she said was completely out of line. Others are defending her, saying that I overreacted and that she was just trying to look out for me. Look out for me? From what? A healthy, loving relationship between 2 people who consider each other family? I didn't tell my husband right away because I didn't want him to feel uncomfortable. But after stewing in anger all day, I realized I needed to tell him before he heard about it from someone else. So I sat him down and explained everything. His face fell. He was hurt. Not just because someone would think that about him, but because now he felt weird. Like maybe he had done something wrong without realizing it. Like maybe he should pull back from my brother to avoid any more accusations. And that made me furious. I told him he did nothing wrong. That I love the relationship he and my brother have. And I wouldn't let some narrow-minded, nasty person ruin that. After talking it out, I decided to make a final statement in the group chat. I wrote, "I just want to make something crystal clear. If you think it's weird or suspicious for a grown man to have a healthy, wholesome, brotherly bond with his wife's little brother, that's on you. If your mind immediately goes to something inappropriate instead of seeing a beautiful, familial connection that says a lot more about you than it does about him, I will not tolerate any further discussion on this matter. If you think Jessica had a point, consider yourself blocked." Then I did block them. Every single person who tried to defend her. Because I refuse to let some twisted, perverted interpretation taint something pure. I refuse to let my husband feel like he has to distance himself from someone he loves like a little brother, because some people can't comprehend a healthy male bond without assuming the worst. I refuse to let this affect my family. So, Reddit, AITA? Should I have handled this differently? Was I wrong to cut these people out of my life? Or was this as disgusting and out of line as I think it was?